He is a prominent scientist engaged in complex calculations. That is all I can say about him. However, I am aware of his actual career and work, and he is, I think it's safe to say, a scientist of great renown in his field. Welcome to the program, Mike.
Thanks.
Well, good. Now, without getting too much into your work, because the culture of science has failed in a very important way. It has failed to address the reality of the close encounter experience. And therefore, people like you are in a position of having to remain hidden. And how do you feel about that?
Well, it doesn't feel comfortable that the scientific establishment today has gotten itself closed to healthy inquiry about phenomenon which we don't understand and which obviously many people have experienced. This topic of your program is usually viewed as fringe, and most scientists scoff at it when I think that is very closed-minded. I think as being a scientist, it's your obligation to try to uncover things which you don't understand and get to the bottom of them. And many scientists don't want to go there with this topic because they feel it could make them look embarrassing, or it could affect their grant money or their status. And I sort of view it as somewhat analogous, although not as anywhere near as extreme, but somewhat analogous to the situation in the Middle Ages with people like Giordano Bruno or Galileo, who, of course, everyone knows their story, about saying something which went against the Catholic Church. So the scientific community today is obviously not that tight, but nevertheless, there is definitely a frowning going on if someone talks about things which, quote unquote, don't fit the scientific method.
Right, but the scientific method, unfortunately, is a very limited thing. There are 6 axioms that are the basis of all science. Is that correct? 6 or 7?
Something like that. Yes, you basically, to be accurate about it, the modern fields of science, and I'll say hard science like physics and chemistry, astrophysics, other fields I could think of, but those are certainly the hard sciences, has as their founder mathematics.
Right.
Mathematics is behind all of these, and the way mathematics is set up using what we call the real number system has associated with these numbers a set of axioms that they have to satisfy. You have, everyone knows the law, the commutative law of multiplication, A times B equals B times A.
Right.
One for addition, and there's several other laws like this, which are very simple, like the unity law, A times 1 is equal to A, so that's the existence of a unity element. So there's only about, I can't remember the exact number, like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of these. That's it. That is it. Very finite number of simple laws like that. I just mentioned a couple. Distributive, associative, commutative, unity,
right.
And identity element. I think that's it. And those are self-consistent entities in that if you do arithmetic in those laws, all the results stay within those laws, and everything is very self-consistent. And it's that system which all of physics is based on, all of chemistry is based on. So therefore, when you do scientific work and you're making up theories of how things might move or how things might work under various situations in physics, ultimately you're going to have to satisfy those axioms.
Right.
Since there's only a handful of them, it's an extremely restrictive setup. Now, fortunately, it works very, very well and has gained us a tremendous amount of understanding of our universe, but obviously if you have a finite number of axioms, you can only hope to understand a finite number of things. And
things that fall, that you can't understand in terms of those rules are dismissed generally. Let me ask
that's pretty much accurate, yes. If something, It depends on how it's dismissed. Typically, the rule of thumb that science follows is if you don't satisfy rules like that, the next thing they look for is can you reproduce something at will, and then if you can reproduce it and measure it, then that gives a sense of satisfying the scientific method. But however, not everything is reproducible. One field which is reproducible but doesn't necessarily satisfy those axioms is quantum mechanics. And the reason quantum mechanics is a valid field is because it is reproducible, and you have to use other axioms